Okay, so back with the rest of the tip. Hopefully you watched the last video. If you didn't, go back and rewatch that one first, because that is a prerequisite to watching this. Go ahead, I'll wait, and then come back and join me for the rest of these tips. So when we're talking about the fact that a lot of the workout DVDs, on-demand videos, YouTube videos, and things like that use dumbbells, but they go in that very, very fast pace. This actually gives you an opportunity to do what is called metabolic resistance training, aka cardio with weights. So tip number 4 is to start to repurpose some of your favorite strength workouts as cardio, because of the fact that that's really what they are. They're just glorified cardio. Whenever you're moving that fast, when you're having these 10, 20, 30 seconds of rest or less, because like I say, I was a workout DVD queen in my day. I still have a very, very large collection of workout DVDs, but this is the way that I transitioned myself from just being this at-home exerciser that just did nonstop circuits all the time, which made me lose a lot of muscle. That is a whole story for another day, but it helped me to transition into lifting in a way that matched the goals that I had, which was having a higher metabolism, a more muscular physique, and being tight and toned and lean. So in order to move away from that, I had to move away from what I used to categorize cardio as, which was just, running or kickboxing or things like that, like the stuff that didn't necessarily have a dumbbell. And I had to stop looking at everything that had a dumbbell, everything that used resistance as strength, because they weren't. What I found as I started actually diving into the research and looking at things for myself is realizing that most of the workouts that are geared towards women, that are geared towards home exercisers, and that are geared towards getting a lot done in a short amount of time, those are typically going to be more cardio-based workouts. They're more endurance-based, and they're more of a HIIT style or metabolic resistance training. Those, again, I lumped together a little bit more in the cardio category, and I started using those for my cardio days instead of for my lifting days, because of the fact that now I was putting a lot of these tips into play of lifting heavier, having longer rest periods, lowering the reps a little bit to make sure that I was like really hitting that muscle building phase. When I did have an inkling to just follow the video or the workout as is, and just like, I had those like ripped 1000 or whatever they were with Jari Love, or my Jillian Michaels, or a lot of the Kathy Friedrich type videos, or even a lot of the Shalene Johnson. So a lot of those videos, I just started repurposing those for my cardio days. So even though they did use weights, even though there was dumbbells and resistance incorporated in that workout, because of the fast moving pace of the workouts, they were not muscle building workouts. Once I accepted that, it allowed me to properly categorize them and be able to use them in still fun and effective ways. So I started using those in place of my cardio workouts, because of the fact that they still gave such a good workout. They were still more, like I say, it was more of that HIIT type concept, and it was a more anaerobic style of working out versus aerobic. Now, anaerobic versus aerobic is, again, a whole nother topic, but the point is that anaerobic workouts allow you to maintain that muscle mass, whereas aerobic workouts could begin to eat away at it a little bit. So instead of me only leaning into aerobic exercise as cardio, I started incorporating some anaerobic style workouts as cardio. So that is the next tip that I would say, is to consider repurposing some of your favorite strength workouts. Really take a look at them and see, is the pace of the workout so fast that you could not lift heavier if you tried, and if you did lift heavier, you have to actually pause the workout and make it take so much longer. If you find that that's the case, and you're like, I don't want to have to keep pausing the workout every 5 seconds in order to do it, then that would be one of the ways to do that. Or say you're doing a class at the gym, maybe like a Les Mills, body pump or something like that. Like if you're doing some of those types of workouts at the gym and you're like, but I don't want to quit those, categorize them as cardio. So that way you can still do them, but make sure you still get in some lift, rest lift style training so that you can start building up that muscle, and then use your anaerobic workouts or your old strength boot camp circuit style workouts as cardio. And that way you can still incorporate them and leave them as is and not take away the fun by pausing them or not being able to move at the speed of the class and all those things. The fifth tip that I would say, and this is obviously going to help a little bit more maybe if you're working out at home versus if you're working out in a group fitness class, because if you're in a group fitness class, pretty much the supplies and the equipment that they have available are inside the class, and it is what it is. Like, you just use what's there. But if you are doing a favorite workout, maybe program from something that you got from online or from a favorite book or magazine or something, or if you're doing a video at home, one of the things that I would say is to start swapping out moves or equipment so that you can make that old workout new again. Instead of doing it the same way every single time, using the same movements, using the same equipment, this is the opportunity to make this movement and exercise fun again, because there are so many ways to work a muscle group. So if you end up kind of getting really nostalgic and stuck on one specific workout that you love and you're doing it over and over again, and say it's always doing, a one arm dumbbell row, there's so many more ways that you can work your back. So being able to start incorporating different equipment into it so that you're still working out to your DVD, video, whatever, but you're using something new. If it always uses resistance bands, maybe swap in dumbbells and use those instead of resistance bands. If it has you doing, kettlebell cleans, maybe swap in. Maybe you're somebody like me who's kind of like added on little toys over the years to your home gym, but you only use them with a specific workout. So maybe you like buy a kettlebell and you buy a kettlebell DVD and you only use those two things together, or you buy a sandbag and you whatever the moves are that came with the bag is what you're using, or whatever. If that's the way that it is, start looking for ways to incorporate some of these things that are collecting dust in your home gym into that particular workout. If maybe you have a kettlebell workout that you love and it's doing like kettlebell cleans or snatches or something like that, maybe you buy something that's like a sandbag and you use those instead of it, or you use the sandbag for your squats instead of only using dumbbells for your squats. Or maybe you have a kettlebell or sandbag video and it has you using squats and you use a barbell instead. So you're just going to start looking for ways to make it a little bit more fun. Like I say, maybe that workout always has you doing some like bent over barbell rows or bent over dumbbell rows, and you still want to work your back. You can bring in like an iron gym or pull-up bar or something like that to work it in some new way, but that way you're still working your back from a better angle so that you actually start getting these multi-dimensional muscles versus just one dimension, because you're only working it the same way over and over and over. You're only doing one type of bicep curl. You're only doing it a hammer curl with a dumbbell every single time versus maybe using a kettlebell or a resistance band or whatever the case may be. So start figuring out ways that you can incorporate new moves and make something interesting again. Inside of my workout app, we talk about this a lot, like where maybe somebody's just starting out and I have a workout that uses an incline bench and they're like, I don't have an incline bench yet. And it's like, well, what about a stability ball? And using a stability ball in place of that incline bench adds a whole new element to it. So even though an incline chest press or incline chest fly is already a great shaping and toning exercise in and of itself, adding that stability ball element adds some core work to it. It makes a lot of your stabilizer muscles work a little bit better. So incorporating all those things allows this move to be this new and inventive move that's working the original muscle that was intended, but also bringing in some other muscles as well. And the thing is that sometimes something like a stability ball may only work when you're using lighter weights. So it could be good to incorporate in one phase and then switch it over. That's something that I do a lot when I'm working out from home. If I'm doing something that can be used, I can use the bench or I can use a stability ball. I'll do it based on the rep range that I'm in. If I'm in a higher rep range, I'm doing like 12, 15 reps, I know that I'm going to have a lighter weight. So therefore I can get on the stability ball and do that same move, because I'm going to be, stabilizing and shaking a little bit, but at least I don't have a weight in my hand that can cause injury. Versus if I'm lifting very heavy, then that's when I'm going to want to actually use the bench, because I'm going to want to be as stable as possible. I don't want to be, shaking and moving with a super heavy dumbbell or barbell in my hand. So you can use things like that to help you to figure out where to incorporate those things, but really just start taking a look around your house and seeing like, what are some things that maybe like I got for Christmas or I picked up somewhere that I never use, but I thought I would use all the time, and see if you can incorporate that into one of your favorite workouts. Also, if you have access to somebody else's equipment, I would use that. So I get a lot of messages and DMs from women that are asking if it's okay to use their husband's like Nautilus or Bowflex or whatever those machines are called, or like, well, my teenage son has a couple of dumbbells or has a bench, or, the iron gym, the pull-up bar and stuff like that. Use it. 9 times out of 10, people are buying equipment and exercise stuff all the time that ends up collecting dust and they don't use. So feel free to scour your own home and use other people's stuff as needed to help spice up your workouts, because of the fact that this is your journey. You want to make it work and you want to get results from the things that you're doing. And while being consistent and being repetitive is a big part of getting results, if it's too repetitive, then your body adapts. That is the biggest message from Eat More to Weigh Less, is that your body is super adaptive. It's always going to adapt to whatever it is that you're doing. So if you're doing the same thing over and over and over, you're likely way past the point of getting results from that thing. So adding some of these little tweaks and changes will allow you to be able to still get results from this thing that you love so much without it being some major overhaul to your life. It can allow something old to become new again. So hopefully some of those tips helped you out. If you want more tips on how to do things like that, how to sub in some of these things that you may have lying around the house, go ahead and post them below and just say, like, hey, I have this. Is there anywhere that I can use this in my workout? Or I have this specific workout that I want to start doing again. If you are like, that's way too much stuff and I don't want to think about all that, and you want all of your workouts planned for you, then you may be a good candidate to join my trading app, where I give you a different workout every 4 weeks. And even within that 4 weeks, the rep ranges, the sets, all of those things are changing, because it's built on a full year periodization where it's mapped out for, by the end of the year, you know exactly where you're going to be. And you're always taking those notes along the way, because you enter them right in the app, and it keeps everything right there nice and tidy for you to let you know, where'd you leave off last time? Where'd you pick up this time? So that you don't ever have to guess. So if you're somebody who is taking a lot of notes and you're going to go implement these things, then go do it. If you're somebody who you're like, yeah, I don't want to have to worry about doing all those things myself, I have better things to do, then you may want to check out the app and get in there for yourself. And then I do all the work for you. So either way, the point is, use these tips, take action on them. They will work. It will help you to at least somewhat periodize what you're doing, so that things are constantly changing, so that your body is constantly adapting and you are constantly getting results, because that's what I want for you. I want you to have results. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. If this was helpful to you, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want. If you don't want to miss any of these videos, make sure you hit that notification bell, so that way you're notified every time I do post a new video, and you can be one of the first ones to watch it. So thank you for joining, and be sure to check out these videos for more information.